Hello. I called a friend of mine today in New York, and well, New York City. I'm in New York right now, and her son Eugenie answered the phone, and they're Russian. And Eugenie is one of those very serious young men. I think he's like 16, and I started getting the lecture from him. Just, you complain about this angelic form in human body, but what are you doing to make your life better, your health better? So I answered him, but I guess the ways in past that plant-based diets were, brought to my attention, nutrition, etc., was always by somebody who was just a little bit angry in life. When you are around somebody that is a little bit overweight or entirely too thin, and they're trying to lecture you on the virtue of their diet, it doesn't register, and also you're getting it with hostility, etc. Patty, before I left for Brushwood this year, started introducing to me, and I might add, understanding my rebellious nature, to a lot of variations with my diet. And I honestly didn't expect to go as far as I have in my way of thinking. And probably a lot of it was obstinance. But I watched the film Forks Over Knives, and I really got a lot out of it. I mean, my biggest fear for a long time with going to something that was, maybe even 10% meat and dairy, was that I wouldn't be getting enough protein, never mind a plant-based diet. I am still loath to use the term vegan. And I don't know if it's going to go that far, but I'm certainly willing to give it 6 months and see which direction it goes in. I mean, if I get my energy back and take some more weight off, Patty was looking at a picture of me the other night where I was 50 pounds heavier. And how I avoided at that point having a heart attack just from the strain, or even worse, having an accident related to, my back surgeries that would have messed me up. But anyway, Patty, sat me down and said, I want you to see this film. And so if you are limited by the way you communicate lovingly with people, and you can be a little harsh, abrasive, or you yell, just let the film do the talking for you. It is something that I really recommend. Now, granted, it's only been a little while, and I really started to gravitate toward the idea of this. I guess it was probably right after I got back from Solstice. No, actually, it was before I went to Solstice. I was spending time with Patty, so it was probably early June. And, I spent 3 days in the hospital. Re-entry is always difficult for me, and I spent an awful lot of time out in the bliss of Brushwood. And before that, the most phenomenal summer solstice that I've ever had, a week out in that. There's no question about it. I work a fire very hard. I'm moving. I'm in perpetual motion for the most part, whether it's dancing, drumming, chanting, bringing people into the fire, tending to their needs. And I don't mean into the fire. You know what I mean. But it is something I'm willing to give a try to. Now, the idea of this is not something new to me. Actually, in my late 20s, for 2 years when I was doing self-realization fellowship, I was off of everything. I mean, tobacco, alcohol, all of these things that I had carried with me through the Navy were gone, including eating meat. And I mean, part of that helped that I was living with somebody that was a very skilled, vegetarian dietitian. And, she made me wise to a lot of things. It always amused me to no end when people would say to me, you need to read the labels on these cans and things, because I have really bad eyes, and it's like fine print and I don't get along. And it does get a little awkward in the grocery store when you have on two pairs of glasses, in one case actually three, to be able to read the labels. And so now the way I define that, I certainly know the biggies that are a problem. But if I don't understand what something is, then I'm not putting it in my body. You know, the doctors at this hospital stay did tell me, you know, heredity does definitely have a big part in, you know, the effect on my heart and what's going on there. But I started thinking about that, and pretty much, you know, my father, my grandfather, and great-grandfather, and their families ate the same type of diet that I do, and, well, did. And, you know, I'm sure that it caused a major part of it. I mean, I'm the only member of my family to have had a form of cancer other than, let's see, prostate or breast cancer. And, you know, one comes from the maternal side and the other comes from the paternal side. But, you know, after having to go through that process and deal with other health problems that I've had, I was looking in the wrong direction, and I was definitely getting the wrong information. Now, I'm not saying that everybody should go to a plant-based diet. I haven't determined that yet for myself. But I'm certainly willing to modify what I'm doing. Although, and I'm talking about long run, I am going to give it, I'm going to give it a shot according to Hoyle's. I mean, I'm down to basically the idea of easing into it, not with meat. I don't eat a lot of red meat, actually. But, you know, just going with dairy for a week or so with, you know, the fruit, veggies, and rice and things that I'm going to eat. You know, and I definitely am appreciating a lot of the knowledge that I'm getting, you know. And Patty has a really good way of presenting things to me because she's from the Bronx. She's a tough cookie, and she understands a rebellious nature. You know, and not for nothing, I'm sorry for the obstinates, but, you know, it kills me. People who have made a study of it, that present it to you with anger or in an oppressive manner, that had to go through finding it out for themselves, probably don't check themselves to remember when somebody pissed them off trying to present something. So if you're trying to present new ideas to somebody, it never ends. When you're trying to present new ideas to somebody, it's probably best that you do it in a kind, loving, and gentle way. You know, I really can't stress the importance of this film in getting, like I said, it never ends, in getting a hardhead like me to pay attention. You know, we all have different personalities, different personality types, different experiences, etc. And those around us should understand how to approach us and how not to. And I think the other advantage of having a film is we're a very media-based society. You know, I haven't had a television on in a while. And even when there's one around for me to watch, you know, I shy away from it. I mean, there was certainly a period of time when I was in a depression and an intolerable living situation where, you know, it was like the Law and Orders were stacked up in the DVR or whatever the hell that thing is that saves everything. But you know, energetically, I have to admit, I am feeling better. I'm still dealing with pain and, of course, the puncture point. And as your cardiologist will teach you, it is really hard, you know, to just put yourself through unnecessary problems without paying attention and focusing on what you need to do. Did that come out right? No, by focusing on what you do, you avoid that. Maybe I'm getting that vegan bliss thing with the food or something, and my mind is straying. No, actually, that's me usually. But the other thing that I learned, and when I shared it in the cardiac lab before they were doing the procedure on me, because when they do stents, they go through the groin and, place the stent inside the artery. It's kind of like a boat in the bottle operation. And I just looked at one of the nurses and I said, yeah, and the doctor was in there too. And I said, yep, the way to a man's heart is through his groin. And they got a kick out of that. So did I, as a matter of fact. It was a Catholic hospital, and they weren't ready for me. So I'm going to give these things a try. There are other areas that I can certainly improve in, but the prognosis at this point, about 4 or 5 years from now, they're going to have to split my ribs. And I would like to avoid that if possible, and also I'd like to be around in 5 years. There was no question about it. The magic manifested. Time together with Tribe, particularly for Summer Solstice, Sirius, and Summerfest, were very liberating and inspiring to me. I'm still feeling the after effects of a lot of the magic that we made together, and it was beautiful, and I thank you for it. So anyway, out there, if you're dealing with health issues and health problems, give yourself a break, really, it's get the information, study, and if you're somebody that wants to help a friend, start with Forks Over Knives. I mean, it's really a simple way of explaining things. And if even if somebody isn't ready to go completely on a plant-based diet, you at least get an understanding of an option that you have to get healthier. Anyway, this is Use the Fairy King. Have a wonderful life. Love you guys.